I adore this. I adore this rune deck. It is everything I ever wanted.
Is it?
Yes. Simply because I've always believed in PTP and Dirt together. It's kind of like my OTP. It's like they just work. It matches together so perfectly, and I think Abomination Awakened.
Are you cheating on Swordcraft followers?
Well, wait, Swordcraft. Well, let's just say that Albert and I have a complicated relationship right now. But anyway.
Okay. All right.
I like the list a lot. That's it.
I like it too. I mean, it's it's interesting. It's spicy, right? Like it's different, you know. It's
There's a possibility
as far as
that
performance goes, I'm not like a giant. Yeah.
Anyway, that list aside, we have some stuff that's just pretty consistent and just kind of works. I mean, on the other hand, we have like you could play PTP, Abomination, Dirt Rune, or you could also just play Burn Dirt, and it just works. Not to discredit any creativity from this other list. It's a bit different from some we've seen before. This has concentrations and other things to keep its hand held high, and Mutagenic Bolt. I think this is like the first list we've seen actually running this. No Twin Guardians or shenanigans like that this time. So two very different.
Well, no. Twin Guardian's been in everything we've seen. So.
Right. Actually, yeah, you are right. I thought it was like one of those things that like I saw once. Yeah.
Been staple, and it's also okay. This is actually the first set of games where we haven't seen it. It's not in either of these lists actually.
Right. So
did EXO feed you lists again? I told him to stay away from you with these bad lists. Oh well. A rune mirror. This is what I waited for this whole time, Mofu. A runecraft mirror match.
And it's not the D-Shift mirror, which is like what you'd expect with how strong D-Shift has been lately.
Well, I mean, it would get banned, you know, obviously.
Well, that's true. Who would actually let the D-Shift mirror happen? That's just poor organization, really. But
Sizouney's hand is incredibly bad.
Very unfortunate. And Meow, like that's I feel him. I feel whatever that motion is supposed to mean. Like double Altered Fate. He only runs 2.
It's okay. You can keep bouncing this illusionist really, you know, almost infinitely, and by infinitely I mean up to 3 times this game. Or you can banish Gingerbread House. Oh wait, Gingerbread does damage, never mind. Price of Magic does banish. Ugh. Cards are hard.
I mean, that's kind of interesting. Like, it seems that there's already an abundance of sigils that kind of do damage as they enter a board. Red Hot Ritual is just kind of the go-to. But I was really surprised to see Gingerbread House show up. I mean, they already have access to a lot of healing with, well, I guess Carl came after Gingerbread House, but Veteran Alchemist and otherwise. It's just a completely different, like, world of Rune to see, like, the slower, Earth-related cards it's got.
Yeah, the slower Earth. We've been trying to play slow Earth decks for, you know, forever because of Juno's Secret Laboratory, and now that we actually can play slower Earth decks, no one plays Juno's Secret Laboratory.
Now you mention it, that is actually really funny. It's like the small polyphonic roar's younger brother of like late game win conditions, but I guess even
it's such
like
a neat card, right? Like it's so neat. It's just much worse than Golem Assault, realistically.
Yeah. Considering how much damage can even be threatened late game, it's like you get 2 wards on the board, you might as well have just played a Twin Guardians and made the
right, yeah, you might as well play Twin Guardians because they're 4/4s and like much better.
Yeah, just like you don't get another like 5 turns to get all these Golem boys out. But I think here we see like the general purpose and like play style of what Meow's going to be doing. So his deck just generates cards. His hand's supposed to always be full. Wow, I was so absent-minded staring at Stella. I was like, wait, how did he get Caster? That's a shadow card.
Where did Caster come from?
Caster.
Casters, please.
Caster, not you again.
Got him.
Back to Alchemist.
This was so funny. Oh my gosh.
That was the pinnacle of comedy right there.
I actually can't tell which one of them is playing the PTP. They both have a full hand. Never mind. Sizouney's just gonna dump all his cards.
And Sizouney's
I like Sizouney's. Sizouney, I think, is the first person like maybe in the NGE scene, if you can correct me if anybody's else done this before. Sizouney did this last week, maybe the week prior, where he used this Demonic Strike Oz combo thing, where you don't actually, you just hold on to the Demonic Strikes and the Oz's till you have like 8 play points or something, and then just use them as Levi fireballs, right? I don't think I've seen anybody doing that in NGE outside of him.
Yeah, I trying to rack my brain too. I mean, I think Sizouney's the last person who brought Demonic Strike in general. It's like it hasn't been in anyone's decks otherwise lately.
Yeah, it's like it's a very underplayed card, you know, for good reason. 4 play points for 3 damage is usually pretty mediocre, but if Oz boosts it to 1, you know, helps it.
It's just a Crimson Sorcery, yeah.
That's yeah, it's insane. It's really good.
Now, how do you read this in like Meow's hand here? This is kind of a mess. So like, when you have a huge hand like this, what Forest would do is just like mash Altered Fate. It's like, I want it. Give me those shadows. But
oh yeah,
you have to kind of evaluate each card here. What am I actually trying to go for?
Exactly. And then also, you know, you're tossing double Calamitous Curse, right? You're tossing a lot. You also can't toss this PTP, so.
Oh, he only runs 2 paths as well. So opening 1 path in like his top 10 cards with both his Altered Fates is like, you know, Path to Purgatory is a really cool and often a really consistent win condition if you just have the time to develop it, until you just draw it all at once and then you have to discard everything and then you don't have a win condition. I know this feel pretty well. Okay. Age of Nightfall gonna come out here kind of like looking like a mercenary drifter.
Very, very fair mercenary drifter.
Animated mercenary drifter. I mean, you know, not everyone remembers what everything is. Got to keep things relevant. So Meow's stuck in that same position as before. I mean, like, you can throw cards out, develop shadows with like what you can, but if he's holding the Calamitous Curses, and I've been in this position a lot trying to play similar lists, when do you really use them? Like, Sizouney's list isn't really hard punished by Curse. If anything, Oz is completely perfectly happy to just take that. You don't really get punished.
Right, yeah, you don't get the banish, yeah, or you don't get the Dying Wish. And also, I mean, you know, Meow could go for a value play this turn. He could play the Conjure Golem into the caster, have a little sticky bit of a board there for a second, but if a 1-drop Sigil is drawn, that gets blown out by Master Mage Levi, or it gets turned into rats. I don't think you even want to. He's gonna go for it, but I don't think you even want to do this.
I mean, you know, caster just tried to be like, he just showed up, so what else can you really do to
right
get
here? This is Stella baiting you into a play right here. This is Stella's doing.
You're absolutely correct. Like, I mean, caster, I think like maybe you also have a ton of experience playing Take 2. I remember you used to stream it a ton, but like he's so good in that format where if you just get him off and he's sticky, he trades into like 3 things. But in like a constructed
he is super good in a format that encourages board trading and board interaction, but when Sizouney's hold nothing but Demonic Strike and Mutagenic Bolt, he ain't going for that plan. He's not about that game style, you know. He's like, I'm not drinking that Kool-Aid, man. I don't want to fight the board.
It's like he's not really about that action, one could say. But I am now seeing exactly what you laid out earlier, in that he's got double Demonic Strike, or should I say double Crimson Sorcery. He doesn't even just really draw cards with the Oz. He has all the burn laid out for him.
Right, exactly. And Oz just kind of, you know, lets him have access. 1 PTP ditched by Meow. Interesting. But on Sizouney's side, Oz just gives him access to Crimson Sorceries. Like,
yeah, he can turn Meow's rats into rats, and then Crimson Sorcery.
And then Crimson Sorcery, yeah.
Ooh. I don't know. This is looking so rough for Meow. I mean, his hand doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't have like Super Cycle. He doesn't have a second Altered Fate. So they tossed it. Like, it doesn't really get the shadows in, I don't think. And he doesn't have any way to activate this abomination.
Yeah. I think what he was going for there was he wanted to Altered Fate into concentration. He wanted the concentration while he had the Earth Sigil on the board, so he could +2 himself and maybe trigger the abomination to evolve it for free, because he's out of evolve, so it'll never attack. So
it's actually super unlucky now that you mention it. That, I mean, he runs 3 concentrations. This man has 21 cards into his deck. He just nope.
And Sizouney is just denying all of that.
Okay, so 3 Crimson Sorceries. Here we go.
Sizouney, I don't know if he's going for the OTK Crimson Sorcery plan, but if he is, oh boy.
Well, it is an absurd amount of 3 damage dealers in hand.
He's laughing. I think he's laughing because he knows how absurd this is.
Yeah, or at least showing us
if he top decks Demonic Strike, he can do 12 damage.
I really don't like that mental image that he can actually just throw 12 damage here.
Lightning bolts, man, I love it. Lightning bolt.
Yeah.
Lightning bolt. Lightning bolt.
It's literally that LARPing video, like lightning bolt.
Yeah,
lightning bolt.
Yeah, he's throwing hacky sacks at him.
I love that video so much. Or even just, well, the game has a card called Magic Missile, so everyone's the other LARP joke. But I mean, he throws that all out.
Yeah, that's the real LARP card.
Yeah, but he throws that all out, and then like I'm pretty sure that reduces his hand just enough to get some draws off the other one. Like, I don't know about Meow's situation here.
I think Meow's really contemplating if he keeps the rats.
Right. Other than that,
I think he's trying to win. I think he wants to keep the Mofu.
Maybe he's the burn LARPer here. Oh, he's gonna keep them. So
he's gonna keep the rats. Oh gosh. Oh, this could be really bad. This could be really, really bad. If he just draws Demonic Strike, it's over.
We Levi now, but he is, yeah, as you say, or as you pointed out, he's down to 12 technically because the rats are just gonna.
Oh my God, he got it!
Ooh. What?
He actually got it.
That's all 3.
He's gonna miss lethal, isn't he? He said, "Oh my God, I hope so, please. 4 times 3 plus 2 is 12."
It's so clear. Okay. Come on.
Sizouney, he actually got it? Are you kidding me?
That's his 3rd Demonic Strike. This is literally like 100 cracked fists of the North Star, like lethal right here.
Got it. Yes, got it. Oh my God, ridiculous. Lightning bolt, lightning bolt, lightning bolt, lightning bolt.
It's literally that. And it's not even like tossing out the 4th one that is the lethal. It's just a little.
Look at his face. He's like, what? What?
He's like, what?
What?
I mean, how do you respond? Or like, what's the appropriate emotional reaction to just having that happen to you?
Well, you laugh. You gotta delete your account.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
And
that's over.
It's like that's the last game of Shadowverse he's ever gonna play. Like, how do you? That just like is a permanent injury.
Oh my gosh, dude. But day was absurd. I told you, Sizouney's onto something. Okay, Demonic Strike with Oz. It's just so good. All you gotta do is draw all of them. You know, who cares if Oz draws cards? She makes them all cost 1.
What is Sizouney saying? I want to hear him. Like, what?
I need to become a master lip reader. He does this every cast, I think. I think he talks to himself every cast.
Yeah. Okay, anyway. I'm actually done. I don't know. I don't know.
Brush off brush off the everything. This is Sizouney's aggro sword. It's almost verbatim aggro sword from like the old ladder that we all hated, but he replaced Ephemera with Vagabond Frogs. That's basically what this list is. So.
Right. So that's really interesting, actually. So, I feel like the relevance of aggro sword for like the entire time that it was detested as much as it was for its popularity all over the place on ladder, it was literally just Ephemera. It was just her. Like, I think that she's kind of proven that. She just goes up 1 cost and the entire deck kind of fell apart. Do you think?
Well, I still die to it sometimes. That thing can do some damage. All right.
Yeah. When it has like the ability to play 6 novice troopers, one of them of which can synergize with itself, it's a lot of potential going first with a good curve. But do you think Vagabond Frog, my Peppo boy, is actually like a solid or functional replacement for Ephemera?
Not against this. Master Mage Levi. If he doesn't evolve it, Master Mage Levi just takes care of it. So.
True. And like, Dirt is probably like one of the only things other than like Haven that just has a very, very easy answer. I mean, even Abomination Awaken just like kicks the frog right out of the place.
Yeah. There are a few answers of it running around. He's gonna set it down this turn with no immediate answer, though. I don't think. I mean, Golem Assault's pretty good. I mean, Dirt this deck realistically is just, you know, really good against it. So.
Yeah. It's got wards, and I think like, especially against Sword, I kind of touched on it earlier, but Sword is like, it doesn't feel like this word is at all appropriate when they have this abundance of ambush and storm, but they are kind of fair sometimes in that they can't really deal with a ward and put down bodies at the same time.
Oh yes, definitely a very very fair faction. I think the only answer they have is Cyclone Blade, right? As far as like actual AoE goes, yeah.
I mean, we saw this back when like PDK was just king of the jungle. It's like there's just one class in particular that just absolutely just couldn't deal with PDK, and it was Sword. Because I mean, I think were part of the whole thing of like, what do you do, Axe Destroyer?
I mean, no, you could try. You definitely could try. I know some people who lost to Axe Destroyer because they didn't expect it, but
yeah, that was what
you
had
to live to Axe Destroyer that.
Mm-hmm. Oof. I always find this
that
to be so
doesn't actually
funny.
Trigger the effect though, unfortunately for him. Won't snipe the Froggo.
Mm-hmm. The very first like day of release of Abomination Awakened, that was the first thing I noticed about it. If you have the time to evolve it, it is just a 3-cost 4/4, and those are already quite prominent when they have appeared in the past in their classes.
Well, I mean, Cinderella's not really used.
That's true. I think Cinderella's got a little bit going for her, but she's only really been showing up like due to the necessity of like, well, we lost Council of Card Knights, we lost Ephemera, now what do we do?
Yeah. I think Sizouney actually didn't evolve Perseus there because he wants Meow to not kill Perseus. Oh, that Calamitous Curse.
Oof.
It's going to be so good after this ward is placed. Uh-oh.
Absolutely evolves the ward, I think. It can gain... It's like... There are times when, ooh, really interesting. I was about to say, at the time I consider it to be super, super worth it to evolve a ward is in a situation where it can hit something with only one attack. Because then the evolve actually effectively, despite a trade, still gave it additional defense. But, gonna protect that body of Ancient Alchemist instead.
I love how confident Meow is, just hitting face for 6 every turn. He knows that, you know, Calamitous Curse would seal the game even if Sizouney went for some kind of board trade, but he can't even do that, so.
Yeah, actually, now you mentioned that's kind of it. You can just play the Master Mage Levi and just go for that third smash to the chin with the Abomination Awakened.
This Abomination did 18 damage.
It did 18 damage in the Levi that sets it up, also just like blows out Sizouney's whole board. Aside from Pepper Boy now that he's evolved.
What a way for Sword to go down. Their whole board, you can't interact with it outside the Calamitous Curse, but it doesn't matter. You can ignore that and hit him in the face.
I also just made a very silly observation. No Earth Sigils. I'm just so used to Levi just like always doing it. But
yeah, so used to the whole board, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a traumatic kind of thing. It's like, oh, there's Levi. He's of course always activated. But yeah, that, as you said, Abomination Awakened just like smashed an aggro deck in the face 3 times for 18 damage. It's had no trouble at all with that.
18.
That's actually the first
drop.
time. Yeah, it's the first time I've seen Abomination Awakened even like played in a game and evolved. Let alone like just
Sizouney's deck is not like teched to take that thing down. There's not even enough stats in the deck to do it, right?
Yeah.
I'm not even evolved Albert kills that. So
like really what does Sword have? It's like we mentioned, like, I don't know, Cyclone Blade and Hamza. There you go.
Hamza.
They don't really have stuff. I guess like Lancer or Gahulan. Things like that. Little answers.
If Sizouney gets a 2-drop, his curve is probably if it gets Princess Vanguard, it's the best it can be. So.
Right. Like Aggro Forest is really good at responding to stuff, but sometimes when you go second or you're on the draw, you skip your first turn due to Fairy Circle. Well, Sizouney didn't get a 2-drop, so thankfully it's not too much damage Meow's gonna have to suffer.
Probably won't even Angelic Barrage. Yeah, I actually like that. No point in barraging a 1/2.
Mm-hmm. That survives. Novice Trooper out.
Oh, come on! The battlefield
Okay.
This is fine, though. I mean, he still has a pretty okay curve. Roundtable Assembly pulling double Juliet in this deck.
Mm-hmm. I do see, though, the possibility of Meow just kind of swinging it back around here. He can go Fairy, Barrage, Fairy, trade into the 1-2, stop the damage, and then Sizouney slows down into playing Vagabond Frog.
Mm-hmm. And Meow can evolve first, but I mean, there's nothing to attack, so he has to go face with that, and that's not really... it's not really that great.
Yeah.
Although Sizouney's game plan is pretty slow. I mean, if he sets up Kunoichi next turn, that's going to let Meow react with a Crystalia Aaron before Sizouney gets too much aggression down.
Mm-hmm. So here we're seeing, like, so this Vagabond Frog is 1 damage. Ephemera would have been, like, a little more, 2 at first. But that's, like, a huge difference, is you need to evolve Vagabond Frog to keep cashing in extra damage by having played him. Whereas Ephemera was just like, you play this once and you just get the cash-in damage forever.
Yeah, definitely. That is, it is difficult to even do, like, that, man, that value, right?
Yeah.
Just keep doing it forever, but, this is looking really bad for Sizouney now. Like, he cannot play Kunoichi at all.
He's not really interested in just trying to trade out here, but, you know, his Roundtable only pulls out the Juliets from his deck, I think. Yep.
Right, yeah, I can. Ooh, okay, alright.
We're going in.
We're doing it live. I mean, I understand not wanting to trade here, obviously, but...
Mm-hmm. It's just, you gotta fear for the boy, because there's a lot of stuff that could go wrong here. You can get Elf Songed. Like, it's not hard for Forrest to both deal with these bodies and go face at the same time. Though, you know, a little bit more damage. He's like 1 off with the Albedos.
Yeah, but I mean, if Sizouney... Ooh, okay. So he's going to kill Sizouney's board. 3 is not enough. Sizouney does play Quick Blader, but he can't play Quick Blader plus Albedo doesn't evolve, so...
Mm-hmm. Tough spawn. He's not completely out of it. I don't know. This Fina is huge, I think. It's like 5-4 body, not easy to trade into. If that goes face, you probably lost this one, because that amount of damage leaves him just in room for anything. The Goblin Mage pulls another Roach, that's it. Or he even just sets up this Roach, and that's it.
This is just over for Sizouney. I think, honestly, this Goblin Mage could even come down this turn just to put stuff on the board. Like, okay, he kept it. Yeah. There is a Quick Blader, but it's not. He's 1 play point off of it.
Right. To get out of this situation, he would need to...
No, he's so close.
So does our boy have to double trade into all this? Probably, right?
Probably, yeah. I mean, also, even Vagabond Frog onto the Goblin Mage is pretty safe, too. Meow looks very frustrated at that.
Yeah.
I think he's hoping Sizouney trades wrong, and I think he did. Oh, he did.
He doesn't want to trade.
He was trying to win. Poor Sizouney trying to win.
Playing to win as best he can, but, you know, as I mentioned before, Sword kind of has this fault of it doesn't really have the ability to deal with Ward and go face at the same. I mean, deal with Board and go face at the same time.
I think also just that, you know, as a Sword player, like from the beginning of time, we've just lost the Forest, and with the printing of Airbound Barrage, it just becomes. It's so much harder now. Airbound Barrage is such a good card.
Right. Allows you to reuse resources. It does 3 damage, and nothing in Sword survives that. Mars doesn't survive that.
Poor Sizouney. Oh well, he had a great top deck with that Demonic Strike, but oh well.
Yeah. Anyway, let's take it back to the desk and see how they felt about all that.